Awesome. There we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cloudy County. It's our virtual cloudy in the sky or county in the sky. Oh my gosh, I messed that up. Where we talk about M365 and cool tech and AI and all kinds of fun stuff. I'm Dwayne. That's Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Dwayne. Yeah, thanks. I'm Joe Gasper. Glad to be here. We're going to be covering a couple subjects. We usually get started with what's new first, um, and then dive into today. I think we're going to dive into some Copilot and apps launching and sort of a little, maybe a hidden little grouping of some tools called Viva, a suite of some self-help, education, kind of tools that are kind of hidden, can be insightful, um, and we're going to just talk about those for a bit too. So, sounds good. All right.
Good with me.
All right.
Yeah, the Copilot, I dropped it in the chat a little bit earlier. We've actually talked about it a couple of times, but we haven't been able to actually show it to you because it hadn't come out yet. So we like to tell you about stuff that's coming so that you're not surprised when it pops up. So try to give everybody fair heads up, I would say. But now we're in a place where we can actually show you live what we were talking about, and it looks like in the chat at least a couple of you are also seeing it. So that's very promising. But I will share my screen real fast. And I'm going to show you two different users. One of them has the paid M365 Copilot license. That's an add-on. But I'm going to compare it or contrast it to what's included with Microsoft 365 that everybody has. That's where like the real big change has occurred and is super duper exciting. So let me do that real fast. Okay. So if you're a regular here, you have probably met Nestor. Nestor got an upgrade recently. Nestor got Copilot, the paid add-on. So a few things on his screen that look different. Number one, he sees work and web. When you have an M365 Copilot license, you can do AI chat, but you can chat about anything that you have access to inside of Microsoft 365. So, like an example of that would be, hey, Copilot, look at my calendar tomorrow and tell me what I have coming up and help prepare me for my day, something like that. It can see your calendar. And so you would do that on the work side right there. He also sees researcher and analyst. We talked about this, Joe, was it last month when we talked about GPT-5? I can't remember. Y'all help me in the chat. Did we talk about GPT-5? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure we did. But researcher and analyst are what they call reasoning agents, deep reasoning. They can actually produce very, very thorough responses and can take several minutes to reply to you. Okay, thank you. Somebody got me back on track. We did talk about GPT-5. GPT-5, so researcher and analyst would require a license. GPT-5 does not. GPT-5 does some advanced reasoning capabilities. It is really, really good. So both users would have access to that. For the longest time, it was also a line drawn between license or no license on if you saw Copilot show up directly in the applications, in the Office applications. So you would get a chat over here on the right-hand side, and then you would get stuff like this in the middle, and then you'll have like little Copilots options, like right here on the page. So if I wanted to like type some stuff, I would see, a little magic wand, and I could make Copilot do something with what's on the page. That is what has changed. And honestly, for folks like Joe and myself and all of you, it makes it a little bit harder to tell people like if they have a license or not. Because I get asked like, well, how do I know if I have a license? So right now, the easiest, most clear signal of if you have a license or not is going to be this right here. Do you see the ability to pivot back and forth between work and web in the main Copilot app? So let's switch over to Beverly. Beverly, so we'll shrink some of this down. I can't remember what I was doing. You'll notice Beverly does not have a work or web toggle at the top of her Copilot apps. So she doesn't have a license. She doesn't see researcher and analyst over there. She does see a agent that has been shared with her that she can use. She does see try chat GPT-5 or GPT-5 rather. One thing that you'll notice is it says like, hey, you can use this at a standard access level, which means if the service is like super busy and bajillions of people are using GPT-5, it might not be available temporarily. That also applies to image generation as well. We've talked about creating images, and for extension agents, I think this is one of the most incredible capabilities that y'all have now is you can create images in your materials and have no concern whatsoever around if there's a copyright on that image or not. Joe and I have had lots of conversations around like the use of stock images and stuff like that. And there's always been concerns around, am I allowed to use this in the materials that I create? Is that true? Is that really okay? And now with AI image generation, if you want to make a cornfield on the moon, picture, have at it. Just tell it what you want it to be, and it will make it, and you can definitely use it. So that is something you can do here, and you'll see the same kind of thing apply to that. So thank you, Joe, for dropping. There's a learn more link here, and Joe just dropped it in the chat to help explain what standard and priority access means. Nestor, having a license, would have priority access. Beverly, not having a license, would have standard access. Now, you might have seen it, a little sneak peek there, but Outlook, it's now showing up for Beverly. So no license required. She sees Copilot. Well, what does that mean? Well, she can click on emails and she can say, hey, summarize this email for me. I don't think I have any interesting email for her to
No
summarize,
long
but
long threads that get thrown over the fence at you.
I mean, that doesn't happen these days, right? Y'all don't get forwarded really long email threads, do you? Does anybody ever ask you at like the 11th hour to chime in with your expertise and help them with something that that they've been talking to somebody else about for a very long time? Yeah, so if that never happens to you, then you might not find this as appealing. But if that does happen to you, you might find this to save you tons of time. Now, right now, Beverly has to click the Copilot button and then type in a prompt and ask about an email. There will be an option coming soon where there's just a button that she pushes that says summarize email, similar to what a licensed user sees today. So that will come to Copilot chat users as well. I also think personally, I feel like the summarize this email button is great, but I feel like people got into a habit of using it and they missed out on some of the capabilities that come with actually just chatting with AI about an email. So, example, if you've been forwarded a long email thread, asking Copilot to summarize it is great. But sometimes I get emails and I'm confused by what is in the email. I'm like, what do they want? Like, we've got multiple people trying to coordinate. I did it this morning. I promise. I did it this morning. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing next week because there are multiple people that are saying that a thing is going to happen, but the thing might not happen. But another person is scheduling a thing and their thing's not related to the first thing. I was like, what? I just went over to Copilot and I was like, and I just said all that. I'm like, hey, can you please help me understand what in the world these people want and where am I supposed to be and who am I supposed to talk to? And it gave me some affirmation. It was like, you're right, this is confusing. There's a lot of people coordinating different things. So you can do that. You could just literally type in here, like, hey, can you please explain to me what so and so wants? What have they tried? Have, those types of things. You can just have a natural conversation back and forth with a assistant about that email to understand it. Now, I hope everybody is seeing this. Everybody should be seeing this. And I think this is even in Classic Outlook now. Which I was surprised. I was honestly surprised by. So it should be in Classic Outlook as well. So if you're like, you will have to pry Classic Outlook from me. If you're in that camp, that's okay. You should be seeing this as well. The thing that we have not been able to show you until now is Beverly has Copilot directly in Microsoft Word. She didn't have this a couple weeks ago. So this is what is rolling out. For the technical folks here who might be curious, Beverly is on 2508, the version of Office. So I think we've talked about this before, but like the secret code to understand what that actually means is super simple. It's the year 2025, month 08. So her build of Office is from August of 2025. So current. It's current. It's not behind. And she sees Copilot right there. Now, in this case, you might have seen a sneaky little prompt I had earlier. I said, help me write a technical essay on how amazing bacon is. And I had Copilot generate a very long, thorough scientific document on why, like facts on why bacon is so awesome. And then I opened that document over in Word and I just, again, said, summarize this document. And it gave me a summary of it. But just like the email thing, if you are looking at this document and you're like, I need to understand something about it, or I have a question, this is a policy, this is a proposal, this is a quote from a vendor, this is, a webinar or a abstract for a session I want to do or whatever. You could just ask Copilot questions about it right inside of the document. So this is going to save a lot of time, I think, on process. So instead of having to go over to chat, download the document, for instance, excuse me, throw it in your OneDrive, hit the /, ground your prompt on the document and say, summarize this document for me. Now, what if I wrote this paper and I was like, you know what? This is my paper and someone asked me to present on this. Well, I could just, while I'm looking at the paper, I could ask Copilot, create a brief and exciting webinar description based on this document. I can't type at all. Today's Monday for me. Did y'all know that? I have been offline for like a week and a half. This is my first day back on my work computer. So I forgot how to use my keyboard. So create a brief and
Copilot
exciting.
doesn't care about your misspellings.
To an extent. I think what I did there was so mangled that it might have it might have been like, what? I'm gonna say I'm teaching a group of high school seniors about bacon, and I want them to understand facts based on science why bacon is awesome. So I'm just kind of thinking and typing out loud. So it's going to take my scientific paper, with scientific terminology in it, and
Scientific
it's going to help
emoji
me
there.
do what?
Scientific emoji there with bacon.
Yeah. And it's going to turn it into a webinar description. So do you all ever do webinars? I mean, pretty sure people do webinars. Do you find it time consuming to have to take something that you already know how to present and turn it into a webinar description and give it to someone? Or I mean, maybe you only have to do it once and you just copy paste and do the same webinar multiple times. I don't know, but this is again something that happens to me. And so this might not be perfection. This might not be exactly what I want to take and copy pasta and give it right to the person that's coordinating the webinar. But it's a really good start. I might delete the emojis. Who knows? Who knows what you want to do? So you can take your own materials and do this kind of stuff now right inside of the material. You should see Copilot. Let's check Beverly. She should see what? Okay, I don't know why it's asking me to sign into Office again. Let's go with just new blank work document. There we go. So she should see Copilot present itself over here in Excel. So you could ask about the data that's in the Excel document. We should see it over here in PowerPoint as well. Yep. So I can ask about a presentation. Have you ever had to review slides? There was a meeting that you were on and a slide deck was presented. Okay. Or maybe before the meeting starts, there's a slide deck that's being presented. You could just ask Copilot about the slides. Hey, what's the call to action, or whatever you want to ask about the presentation itself. I think it's also in OneNote, but I don't think Beverly hasn't used OneNote yet, so she might not have open notebooks. She might not have a lot to show here. Yeah, but it should be in OneNote as well. So if you're a OneNote user, again, the limitation, and this is not a limitation. This is a whole new capability. But what you can do is you can type in a message there, and you can ask about the stuff that's right there. Get feedback, generate an FAQ. You saw generate a webinar description, all kinds of stuff.
I think
So this
that's
is a big deal.
I think, Wayne, that's something to um, follow up on and just talk a little bit deeper on that. The file that you have open, or the um, just the email you have open, right? So it's not going to look through all your emails. It's just whatever you have active open.
That is correct. So in this
Okay.
case, the email that I have open, you can see, and this is not a stellar example, I apologize, but Nestor added you to the CAP team. I said, summarize this email. You have been added to the CAP team. So it's not going through my inbox. It is going through whatever I'm currently looking at. That is a pretty big difference between a licensed Copilot user and Copilot chat included within 365.
The way I've been looking at it too is you could always add a file to Copilot chat and ask questions about it. Now you don't have to do that. You can do that right in Word or Excel. You don't have to save that file, put it somewhere, add it into a chat, start talking about it. You can actually do it right in there. So it's basically the same capabilities. Microsoft just brought it to where you're working and made that easier.
Yeah, we call it the flow of work. You're going to have Copilot directly in the flow of work. It would be disruptive for you to be looking at this document and you're like, sure wish I had a webinar, description, that I could create right now for this document. Hang on, let me minimize this. Let me go over here. Let me go to chat. Let me start a new chat. Oh, my email popped up. And then you click, or you get a message in Teams, and woo, down the rabbit hole you go. And you get distracted. So, content, what was it called, Joe, back when Teams was rolling out? Like application fatigue
Context
or
switching,
context
application,
switching?
yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, you can do that. And I think that's great. And I do it a lot. I do it all the time. The / in Copilot chat is your best friend, in my opinion. I just / bacon. Anything I have access to that says bacon shows up. I just type that in. Boom. Now I can talk about it. But I had to switch applications to do that. So the huge benefit here is it shows up right where you're already working. You don't have to start a new window or hunt for an application on your start menu or any of that stuff. It's just right there. So very, very, very powerful. And I encourage everybody to, if you don't see it yet, you will. Rollouts, just fun fact, like when Microsoft says like, hey, we're gonna roll out a new button and it's awesome, it takes like 8 weeks or so for that rollout to complete. Because it rolls out throughout the worldwide, throughout the whole world. So it's quite an undertaking for that to happen. There are other variables as well. It may depend on your IT administration. You saw that Beverly's Office version was very current, August of 2025. If yours is like, I don't know, July of 2024 or something, there might be some weirdness going on there, and you might need to ask somebody. If you want to see what version you're on from an Office app, just hit the file button and go down to here where it says account, and then you'll see it listed right there. So it'll say about, and then it says version. You don't need to worry about all this stuff. Just 2508, 2025, 08. So yeah, I'm excited. I hope y'all are excited. And yeah, and the question in the chat, this is the forward slash for, remember, this is Beverly. Beverly does not have a Copilot license. There's no worker web toggle at the top. If she hits a forward slash, she gets a search bar right there. She can search for any file that she has access to. She can also hit the cloud icon and get like the traditional like OneDrive browser. And so now she can go, my files, she can access other teams. So there's that team that she just got added to this morning. There's a ton of things in here. There's like a bajillion PDFs. There's a search bar up here at the top that she can search for things. But if you have access to it in Copilot chat, you can talk to Copilot about that file. And you can do 3 files, I believe, in one prompt. Let's try it. Let me prove that. So we're gonna go bacon is amazing. Plus, I think I have more bacon files. So bacon research paper, and then I have a bacon document, and then capstone speech. Yeah. So that's what I thought. So you can do up to 3 files at a time, all in one chat. So you could say, here's 2 files. Tell me what's different between them, right? What changed from last year's policy to this year's policy? That, for instance, you could also use multiple files to generate like a report based off of 3 things. So maybe you have a meeting transcript that you downloaded. You pretty soon you'll be able to do emails in here as well. So Joe, I don't know if I told you that, but emails come in here. So you'll
Would
be
that be
able
like
to,
a MSG or EML? I think one of those.
no, you'll just reference an email that's in your mailbox. And
So
so
that
like
might
that, you've
help.
been added to a team thing.
Gotcha, gotcha. So that
Yeah,
might help one of the questions here about having several email threads. So maybe be able to bring in several,
yeah,
3
yeah.
emails
Yep,
potentially you could reference.
correct. Yeah. But maybe there was a meeting, an email thread, and a document that was drafted that were all a part of making something happen, like an event or a project or something like that. You could do all 3 of those and then have Copilot generate like, here's an executive summary of all of that data, all consolidated into one thing. So really, really powerful capabilities there. And the forward slash has been there for a little while. And forward slash is a personal domain preference. You can hit the plus sign and hit add content. It does the same thing. Um, forward slash is just faster, in my opinion. My hands are already on the keyboard, right? So I don't want to have to click a mouse. But yeah, seeing Copilot inside of these apps is going to be, I think, a game changer. This is very powerful. And this is a change that, we're, excited to talk about because it literally affects every single person in your entire institution. Everybody will have access to do that. And that's really, really powerful. So, um, Joe,
We
you
do
had
have
some,
we do have
some,
one comment there in the chat too, maybe about the type of Office version you're using. You're going to need to be on Office 365, not a long-term servicing version.
yeah,
So I think we probably want to check with your IT about that, and how to make sure that if you've got a license for it, that you're on Office 365.
yeah, yeah. The older versions are not cloudy, for lack of a better of a better term, and Copilot moves so fast that it's just not really feasible to put somebody on an older version that doesn't get updated very frequently and expect them to have a good experience, because this thing is getting updated like every week. I took a week off, and you all know want to know what stressed me out the most? Was like, what all changed in Copilot when I get back? And sure enough, when I got back, I saw new stuff. So just buckle up. Right. Yeah,
Dwayne, could I have you?
2108 is
Yeah. What is it?
LTSC is, yeah.
Yeah.
LTSC stands for long-term servicing channel, and that's a version of Office that does not change. And one thing to kind of point out about this of why this makes sense, Copilot did not exist in 2021. So it's yeah, it's hard to be able to put Copilot in that, So, but yeah, universities have access to Microsoft apps, and check with your IT department about it. Yeah.
Dwayne, put you on the spot for 1 second.
Oh no.
While you were sharing the one thing I have on what's new, if you don't mind sharing a full Teams uh, app, wanted to show off the new controls. Um,
Oh,
that might be for my setup today.
yeah.
I'm not
So
in
let
a
me
situation to do that. If you don't mind showing us, starting a little new meeting going and those controls.
I don't even know. I don't even know what this meeting is. Sure. I mean, is this Nestor's meeting? Yeah, I'll try this. We'll see what happens. Yeah, controls.
Great,
Oh,
thanks.
that's
Yeah,
what you wanted?
yeah.
Yeah, this is huge because we have told y'all for years, meeting options and teams. Like, if you want your meeting to run a certain way, you have to configure the meeting options and teams. Normally, what we would tell you is when you schedule a meeting, and you make it a Teams meeting, you'll see meeting options right here. This is the new calendar. So it might not look exactly like that for you, but relatively close. And when you click on meeting options, this is where you get to decide who can share their screen. And in Teams world, the term presenter is a little bit understated. It's not just presenter. Presenters can share their screen, right? Well, in Teams, presenters can kick other people out of the meeting. Presenters can mute people. Presenters can take control of your slides, that kind of
Accidentally
stuff
let accidentally let an AI bot in through the lobby.
into the meeting from the lobby. Yeah. So under roles, where you see who can present, if yours is set like this to everyone as the default, that means every meeting you schedule, every single person that comes into the meeting is a presenter and can do all of those things. Now, if you're in a situation where you're like, oh no, my meeting started and everybody came in as a presenter, what do I do? Well, this new button, controls, makes it very easy now for you to fix that. You just go controls, and if there's a check mark next to share screen, click it and it will uncheck it, and that demotes everybody like super fast. A very, very big fan of this new controls button. Um, you can of course decide these other things as well. Like, do I want people to be able to chat? And you used to be able to do this before, but it was, I mean, you could always do this. It was buried under a few different layers of menus. So like you had to go to settings and then like meeting options and a new window would pop up. Or, turning off controls here, like you could do stuff in the participants list. but being able to just one button control center to say here's what people can and cannot do really, really rapidly. Yeah, great call, Joe. That's a big one.
Yeah, it's we talk about it's really easy to run basically a mini webinar that you start off with um, this concentrated one-way push of information. But at the end, you want to open up the floor and have everybody talk and chat, and you're not having to dig into settings and options. You can just flip that right around if you don't want to and need to go through the full process of running a true webinar with the full registration, which you can do in Teams. If you just want to kind of take a meeting, lock it down a little bit, no sharing, no mic, no camera, start that way, and then open up the floor perhaps after, your main speaker. Real quick and easy to do that now. Thanks, Dwayne.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you can see here for Beverly, if I say I want all participants to be able to share their screen, watch my screen right there when I click it. Now she's a presenter. And if I get in my meeting and everybody's a presenter and you have a panic moment, just go click, click, fixed. 2 clicks and it's fixed. Great.
Super.
Awesome.
Great. All right. I think I'm going to run through a few what's news and save a little bit of time there for some Viva information. I think the Copilot in apps is pretty exciting stuff. We spent some good amount of time on that. But let's share a window here. All right. Dwayne was talking about like in a forward slash to do certain things. We'll talk about that capability in another way coming up, but there is some similar capabilities that have come to Teams, and that is helping you find your messages, filter your messages. There is some options here, and I'll drop a few. Let me drop these into the chat because there's one more on there that's possible. But if you're in Teams, you can go up to your search bar and there's some filters now. So you can have from Poland, and it's just going to start kind of giving you the most recent people that you've been chatting with. You can pick one of them and easily start pulling back chats and chats that you had with them. Maybe, is type. So we know it's a file that you're looking for somewhere in Teams. Maybe it's something related to a meeting. You can start looking these up. So that's one new little feature that is rolling out. Should start seeing that. Let's say some things that are new in Teams. I know that we've got iPad users. I remember early on with Teams, we've had some iPad users using Microsoft Teams extension agents in the field, even running meetings, showing off some agriculture in a field, things like that happening. There's some better support around cameras on iPads that's rolling out. You can now even bring in external cameras. So I guess there's external cameras, I'm sure USB connected, that you can bring into an iPad. So that might enhance some maybe remote connecting, remote teaching out there using an iPad. Definitely see that's been pretty common. Another feature that is rolling out, I've not seen this yet. It's supposed to be hitting this month, so maybe you're going to start seeing this. And Dwayne, if you've seen this or come across this, it'd be interesting to know. With Microsoft Teams, we like to tell you how to present is PowerPoint Live. If you've got a slide deck, PowerPoint Live is the best way to go and present. The way I'm understanding this is that someone who maybe has shared a PowerPoint deck in a more traditional manner still will now have the ability to share control of that to someone. So if you're not comfortable with PowerPoint Live, or that file that they're using is not in the cloud, it's not in a Microsoft cloud location, which you need for PowerPoint Live, there's some opportunity here now to start sharing that among people. And one more way to continue reducing that need to say, next slide, please, if you've got a couple of presenters. So you can see in this image down at the bottom of the screen, when someone who's controlling in this manner, there's going to be some toggle little buttons. Your arrows are going to work to be able to move those back and forth for everyone. So that is, I've seen that in some other platforms. Again, we like to talk about PowerPoint Live, but if this is your case and your need, this hopefully is going to help in those other ways in which we are more traditionally, the older traditional ways of sharing a PowerPoint deck into a meeting. So, let's see, is this OneNote? OneNote. So OneNote, just a couple little things in there that are kind of interesting. There's been something that has been on the deck for a while for people, and that is being able to merge grid cells. So look for that. You're going to see a little merge cells icon showing up in the ribbon when you have that option. Another thing that is really nice, and we keep seeing this coming to a number of the Microsoft products, thankfully, Control-Shift-V. And that is a way to get paste content into OneNote that is just plain text. So often you paste something into OneNote or Word, and you're pulling it from, say, a web page. It might pull over all of the formatting, someone's custom fonts, things like that, using Control-Shift-V. It looks pretty sweet to be able to take advantage of that now. And I know I've heard some folks on this call before that are Canva users. One thing I want to show you, didn't know that how well OneNote does embedding. If we, let's see if I pull up a OneNote, is the ability to grab an embedding link for, hello, OneNote, and grab an embedding link from a Canva image, and you can pull it in, drop that link right into OneNote, and it'll unfurl that and give you a vision. So that's coming from Canva. So if there's some images you're working on, you want to document them, talk about them, maybe do a review this way or something like that. Just thought it was kind of an interesting thing that I happened upon. So something to take a look with that. And let's say, so a couple new things that are coming to cover that. That's our OneNote. SharePoint is getting some enhancements. Again, we often talk about SharePoint for intranets, SharePoint for consolidating a bunch of information you have internally that maybe you don't want to share out and put up on a public site. You don't want to go through the effort of standing up a WordPress site or some other service like that. You can do it right inside of your SharePoint environment. There's some header and footer enhancements coming. The ability in this case is to put a background on a header, really nice, and a footer, bringing in a full footer, bring an image in, and take advantage of that. Another thing that is really nice, and let's go take a look at a site and try this out. Switch this, unpin you. I'm on I'm going to go in here into SharePoint homepage you might have for your tenant. And I'm going to just create, you could come in here and create a site if you have that ability and option. I'm going to drop into one that I've demonstration site that I've created previously, and give you an idea of what you can do with these headers real quick. So um, let's see, this one, we've got a nice green background. I've got, let's see, we don't have one in the footer. Let's go edit this, make this look even slicker. So I can go into my gear, change the look, and I've got some options here now for header. I've got an extended header. You might start typically with a standard header, compact, minimal, all these types of headers. I've got a design option. So that's what's new you're going to start seeing. And you can change these images out, and that'll happen across your entire site then. So that'll be consistent across your entire site. So we could change this image. And there's always great stock photos available. Let's grab this image. It looks nice and calm. Nice reflection in here, but that's a little off. It's kind of, can't really tell what that is. So one thing I want to do is go into advanced editing, and we've got some tools. And these tools are pretty much what you can do across images that you bring in to SharePoint. That's available in SharePoint when you bring an image in. And one of these here is adjustments. We got contrast and color and saturations. You can have some vivid types of nice filters and burns. And what do we got here? That's a vintage image. And focal point. That's the one I wanted to show. That's one you probably will use often. And this is what helps determine what it's going to look like in that smaller banner that you're going to get at the top. And here's some ideas. It's going to give you on the right-hand side what that's going to look like. And that top one is kind of going to be like our banner. So I'm going to adjust this a little bit, give me a little bit better view. And let's try that. And we'll save that. And now I can see some image in the background and things like that. So you can save that, take advantage of the header. We'll have the same type of options now for footer. I want to show my footer on, extended. I've got design. I can come in and continue to do that kind of thing. One nice thing that's new is also being able to put it on alignment, left side or right side. We've got a footer down here with some feet. That's just some enhancements as you build out perhaps your intranet. Another thing that's really important is if you get started with this, and how do you create a page? What can you do with SharePoint pages? And Microsoft has released now, I'm going to go create a new SharePoint page. Under new page, they brought out a bunch of templates for you. You can kind of see, pick a few of these, walk through them, figure out how they were created, how you could replicate that same type of image that you might want, that same type of layout. So we could come in here and let's pick resources. Give you an idea what this is going to look like. And just say use this template. And now we've got something that we can either just update some text on this or start using it. But you can come in here and start understanding kind of how these pages are put together. And let's see if this one is the case. Yeah, so some of these are using something very advanced, something quite new called the flexible layout even. I'm dragging this box around and you can see this grid layout. You can get very exact, detailed with a type of section called a flexible layout. So that's how you can make these images. That looks quite professional. Looks like a great public facing site, but you can do that now right in your own intranet. I said we're going to talk, talk briefly about another slash command. Let's go just say I'm having a chat. Dwayne's favorite / in a chat / not sure you've seen these. So I can quickly BRB, be right back. Maybe you want to do a quick GIF. Let's do a GIF. I can just hit tab. What's one of our favorites? How about Tom Hanks saying thanks? That's one of our favorites. Boom. Quick GIF. Shove it in there. All from the command line. Don't have to leave that. So, let's talk a little bit about Copilot chat and making sure that you've seen this option now. Conversations. So this layout is been out for a little while. You've got, if you've got any agents, you've got your chat on this side now, and under conversations is where you're going to have your list of the chats that you've been having. All conversations. Just want to make sure you see that. They brought out a nice view to this, ways to filter this. If I want to see maybe things that I've been chatting with a specific agent you've created or someone's created and you've been using it, you can do that. And you can search in here, I don't know, Picard, chatting about Picard, all through your chats and the responses. So very nice. Take advantage of that to pull those up. So let's dive into some of these tools around the Microsoft Viva suite of tools. They're kind of hidden. So if you've not seen these before, then they might be kind of fun. Might have an opportunity to kind of discover some things about you and maybe start taking advantage of some of them, especially around time management. So I'm in Teams. Come along my left rail. I can go to view more apps. And first one we're just going to look at is Reflect. So I'm typing in Reflect. I got this Reflect app. Again, we're going to be in an education environment. So some of these could be a little more K through 12. But I think everybody can take advantage of these and enjoy these. So this Reflect has, these are really meant a lot of these for you to take some time, take a breather, relax, do a little mind meditation, take 3 minutes and compose yourself. Maybe you've got a presentation coming up. Maybe you've got a meeting. Take advantage of some of these. These are just interesting little, pick one of these and this person is going to walk you through. I'm sure these must have little names of some sort. This
Hello
one's
there.
Joy.
I'm Joy.
Thank you, Joy.
And today,
but Joy will walk you through feelings, your feelings and how you're doing. Yes, with your feeling monsters. So again, maybe you want to do it on some headsets, but I think that's something to just think about. I know parts of our year can be quite stressful, and taking some minutes like this is good for yourself. There's some options in here on remembering to get up, take a break, get out of your chair sometimes. Maybe you want a few minutes of 15 minutes of just, you need to really focus. There's some music in here. You can come in and focus for 15 minutes. There's some interesting things. Smurfs, you want to come in and do some memory games. But again, a little bit of K through 12, but I think you can find some options in here that take advantage of. Next one to look at is Viva Insights. And this one again is mostly about you, around you. And there's the ability to kind of see praises that maybe you've received, send a praise to your coworkers, schedule times to focus right on your calendar, set up times for set up a focus plan, set up a plan. Maybe you've got a grant you're working on and you just really say, you know what, I need to set aside 2 hours a day for the next week and put that on my calendar and just do it. And what some of these tools will allow you to do is set those up. So like, let's do daily focus plan. Boom. 2 hours of focus a day. It went and found places on my calendar just like that. I can go do that in my work hours, set it up. And that'll show up on my calendar now. There's some items in here around, again, well-being. That would be scheduling some time for yourself. There's items in here about productivity. This is going to be a little empty. This is not, yours is going to be a little more full. Teamwork, you can see how many meetings you're in, how much time you're spending chatting, who you're working with a lot, that's spending a lot of time with, who your important collaborators are. And that can help you focus and plan and think about how you spend your time. And if you get yourself set with all this time to and get better at managing it, perhaps maybe the next thing we can do is look at what to do with that. And one of those is Viva Learning. So Viva Learning. Viva Learning is a set of providers. If you've ever been to LinkedIn Learning, or I think it was called Lydia before, quite a long time ago. If you've ever visited those sites before, you're going to see some of this and look familiar. But this is a place where you can come in and put together, bookmark, make plans for learning something new, or something that you're struggling with. Pivot tables in Excel or something like that. You're going to find content in here that will teach you that and take you through that. You don't have to go anywhere. It's right in Teams. You can come in, find courses. You can bookmark them. If I've got, let's just say, here's a course. There's an option to bookmark it. You can bookmark it. You could share it, make sure somebody else knows about it. And we can recommend it to someone. You can add it to your calendar. Like we said, maybe you've set some time aside for yourself to grow and put these on your own calendar. My learning will start to be your collections, things that you've bookmarked. You can track what you have in progress, what you've been reading, watching, and something that is free now, available to everyone, not just with a paid Copilot license, but this is this rolling out, Dwayne, or is this, you think this has probably hit everyone? But there's a Microsoft Copilot Academy. Should be out for everyone. So Copilot Academy, help you use Copilot Chat. So here's getting started with Copilot Chat. I can drop in and start walking through short videos, short articles that will help me use that better. That's pretty slick that used to just be available if you had the paid license. But I like that they're bringing in it for everyone now. Great little, quick snippets on how to take advantage of it. And that is really great that that's available to you. If you are in a university that has licensed LinkedIn Learning for your campus, that would be something to check if that's the case. If that's the case, then you can bring in the entire collection of LinkedIn Learning into the Teams app. How would you do that? So I have an option here in the upper right, settings, and under content sources, you're going to find LinkedIn Learning. So maybe you have your own premium license, but if your university has licensed that for everyone, this is where you'd go through, sign in, and then you're going to see the work that you've done in LinkedIn Learning is going to come through into Teams also, and you can track the work in either way. So I really wanted to take you through those things. Those are really meant for you to go investigate your time and take advantage of those little tools that are sitting there for your well-being and for your growth.
Viva is all about employee experience. Take care of yourself. You know, block time off on your calendar. I should block time off on my calendar. uh, the headspace stuff, the meditations, white noise. Like one interesting thing that happened during the big push to remote was a lot of us had a commute, and a commute served as like a time to decompress. You know, I used to drive an hour to work and home. And so over an hour, I would listen to a podcast, and then remote made it different. I just went straight from off the computer to doing what I was doing at home, if I even got off the computer. So going into those and listening to some of those is actually nice. It's good for you. So a lot of these tools are baked right in. There's like everything Joe is showing is included and just ready to rock and roll. So it's good tools to take a peek at.
Well, that's what I've got to want to cover. So I think that's it. Cover all the questions. Yeah, that was lynda.com. That's what the old.
Yeah, Linda. Yeah,
Yep,
back in the day.
one.
Awesome. All right. Well, we will turn off the recording. If you have any questions that you want to ask, feel free to hang out. Otherwise, you are free. I mean, you were always free. It's not like we can lock you in here, but you're free to go. So, are you free to hang out and ask a question? We'll stay on the call for a few minutes.